Hello, everyone, and welcome to Rise Tribe podcast. This is episode 3. Can you believe it? And today we have the amazing Marie McLeod, who I'm really chuffed to have on as a guest of ours. She is one of my dearest long-standing friends, and we have worked together and been in a deep friendship for a very long time. She's an absolute soul sister, and she's also just an incredible woman who is totally inspiring, and I can't wait for you to hear all about her. So I'm just going to introduce her. We were talking about this because Kirsty and I aren't big on like massive intros and stuff, but I mean, Marie, we could just list a whole load of shit, so like massive amounts of what she's been doing with her life. But so what we're going to do is, this is Marie McLeod, yoga teacher and wearer of many hats. So without further ado, Kirsty, actually, do you want to say something?
Yeah, no, we were just talking about what we were going to talk about beforehand, and we started getting into total dialogue, and it was there like, oh my goodness, we need to stop talking because this is so good for the podcast. And
Yeah.
I just feel that people are going to get really inspired by Marie's journey from where she started out and gone along a journey and where she is right now. And what I feel from knowing Marie is she just follows her purpose. And please don't get me wrong, that's not an easy thing, and I'm sure Marie will share some of the ups and downs, but she's just really stood fast to her purpose, to her values, and it's just really really inspiring to see where she is. So yeah, just excited for everybody to hear from you, Marie. So thank you so much for joining us. Cats are out the door, out the room, sun's out the room, we're all good.
Well, dog's still whining in the background, cats jumping around after a moth, but everything's really calm just in this little screen here.
So just to set the scene, because I'm like the blow-in in this relationship. You and Sam have known each other for many years. Do you want to just share how you two sort of connected? And these two should write a book, and I'm sure at some point Sam and Marie will write a book, and Marie might share a little bit of that. But how have you and Sam come connected? And we've just been on this journey together.
So we met through a mutual friend of ours. Sorry, now the dog's going to kick off, right?
Hi, Odie Pie. Oh,
perfect timing.
Oh, Odie.
So we met through a mutual friend of ours, and that must have been now. What's Tristan 20? That must have been about 20 years ago now.
It's got to be 20. He was 2, I think.
Oh. Yeah, so he's 22 this year.
There we go, yeah.
20 years ago. And Sam was looking for a bookkeeper, and I was looking for a little bit of work whilst looking after the kids and stuff. And so I went to do Sam's bookkeeping, and long story short, you owned your own floristry business, and one day she was short on a florist and said, I don't suppose you fancy coming out on the van, do you? And I'm like, yeah, absolutely. What, away from the desk? Yes, please. So went with her, and then just became fully fledged florist, and it was, and contract manager at the end of it all after 10 years working together. We did. So it was, and lots of meetings in the pub that were essential meetings in the pub after work.
But we're talking after work was what time? Because you guys were up, but silly.
Well, on a Monday that might have been when the pubs opened.
That's what I mean. After work was like 10 o'clock in the morning, wasn't it?
It was normally lunchtime.
Lunchtime, but there was an occasion where we were waiting for the pub to open because we'd got round quite sharpish.
Yeah,
I was in Camden.
I do remember. Sat on the bench out the front, just waiting for the pub
to open yet.
Yeah.
Oh, so amazing.
And so many giggles in the van, and and a hell of a lot of hard work. So,
oh my gosh.
But yeah, it was amazing, amazing stuff. It was such creative job. It was brilliant, and Sam did so well with like the whole kind of thought process behind what Storm Flowers was, and the kind of design of we stood out kind of in the design, because Sam had like some real kind of strict guidelines on how we structured like the but it was amazing. It's because it was your brand, and that was what stood out. It was amazing. And there were really strict guidelines at times, but it's because it had such it was just, it had such a kind of theme to it, and the clients expected it that way after a while. They definitely
really did. I'm just, oh, we had so much fun, Marie, and you went from wanting just a little part-time job to being like full on in the absolute crazy of it. And we were like Tweedledum, Tweedledee, inseparable, hilarious. Everyone, oh, we had so much fun, and like really hard work, really long hours, and all sorts of stuff. But just talking about the OCD and the rules, really funny, and I can really see my red personality that I didn't know I had in Storm Flowers. And I would honestly, Kurt, I would make people like, so you would do an arrangement. There was normally 3 elements: 1 flower type, vase, and one accessory type. But sometimes you could add on, but only if you were good at it. And we used to put gems on the ends of steel grass. And I remember when we did the mauve theme, and it had to be the dark mauve, the medium mauve, and the pale mauve. You couldn't put them the other way around. I made them go and
still shaking from that experience.
I'm just like, honestly, hilarious.
Like, it was so traumatic.
I'm like, babe, your beads are the wrong way around, darling.
At 4 o'clock in the morning, I'm like, I couldn't care less where my bloody beads are. You're lucky they're on a bit of grass, not being lobbed at you right now.
Yeah, that was to begin with.
Relationship.
Oh my God, honestly. Yeah, but then Marie would start doing it as well. I'd hear her go, sorry, Joelle, you need to...
Oh, they do say you become the person you spend the most time with, so you two morphed into it.
Oh my gosh. We just, it was amazing. It was at least 10 years, wasn't it, of working together, and then, but also obviously our friendship has just continued, and we've also been like, we kind of went into sort of personal development stuff at similar times, I think, and and spiritual journey and everything, really. It's just, we've kind of moved alongside each other. It's been amazing.
Definitely.
Sorry to interrupt, Marie, but I want to know this question. So I know, because I met Sam through a property course that we were on. So is that when you first started personal development, Sam?
Yeah.
Right.
Pretty much. Yeah, I think I was just starting. Yeah, I'm trying to think where I was.
So Marie, what brought you into the personal development world? Did you go and do a course, or someone give you a book, or Sam's laughing?
It was when it was actually, it was when my son fell ill, I think.
It was.
Yeah, when my eldest son fell ill, with depression, and he was very poorly, and I had to stop work and care for him full time. And I basically, I think it was Chris. So his dad would put on like these motivational things in the morning, and it was kind of so that the kids could hear it as well. And then I just started listening in, and I kind of found this guy that I really liked, and Les Brown it was. Do you remember?
All the time,
got to see Les Brown in the end as well. He was on my vision board. I remember the first vision board I did. I wanted to see him live. But yeah, so I think that was when it was. So that was maybe 8 years ago, 8-9 years ago, something like that.
Yeah. I laughed because I also dragged you to a seminar in Canary Wharf, which was, I can't remember his name, Ryan, and you really didn't want to go.
Oh
And
my
you
gosh.
were
No,
like,
it was in
Stratford,
Westfield,
that's
wasn't
it.
it? Yeah.
That's the
I
one, yeah.
so didn't want to go. I was
Oh
in
my
such a
God.
foul mood that day.
I thought she was going to
I'd
nut
had
me.
such a horrible day, and she was dragging me to this thing, and I'm like,
I
the
got go.
last thing I want to be is happy and motivated today. I was honestly, I could have throttled her.
Yeah,
But
because
yeah,
those seminars, you know, you kind of walk in and it hits you, doesn't it? The energy hits you, and if you're kind of not there, it's like, what is going on in here?
absolutely.
Bunch of weirdos jumping around and smiling when you don't want
It
it.
was actually really powerful though. I remember just
Who was it?
watching
What's his
you.
name?
Yeah, it was Ryan inspired. Ryan, I'll find it and I'll post it because he was super cool. Young guy, really into motivating and working and inspiring kids as well. I will find his info. And Warren Ryan.
Yes.
Oh, I did a
Inspire
program with
Ryan.
him. Yeah.
And yeah, really, really cool guy. And it was a really, yeah, it was a really good little seminar. It was amazing. So yeah, that just made me laugh because I just remember your face when you arrived.
Oh man. I was like, what on earth is going on? I'm sorry, I'm having to move. The cat is possibly going to knock my TV down. I swear to you, this household is
Looking
nuts
outside,
tonight.
something's going on in there.
I feel like the whole household has gone a bit crazy this evening. It's a new moon tomorrow, isn't it?
Oh, fabulous. Good. What
Oh,
we
my
in
lot
store for
goes.
this month?
Yeah.
This lot go absolutely bonkers. Like they completely lose it, the animals. Nothing to do with my energy at all.
Nothing to do with Marie
At
all.
No.
Of course not. So, okay, so you went to see what that's hilarious because I did an online course, like a speaker course, remember on Facebook?
Yes.
With Warren. So I get the energy you were
it.
walking into, like he is.
It was high energy.
Actually disappeared. I've not seen him on any social media for ages. But anywho, so yeah, so you went along. So it was, yeah, probably a really dark moment, you know, a period of time when I mean, how old was your son? About 10, 11, 12?
No, he was 14 when he started getting poorly, and he was 15 when I had to leave work. So and just as he was entering his GCSEs, and it was just too much for him. So we had to remove him from the school and take him out of all of his GCSEs. And I mean, that in itself was like a massive struggle to even get the school were just so against it all and telling me I wasn't allowed to. And I just kind of laughed at them like, oh, and you think that is going to stop me? Like, come on. My son can't even get out of a fetal position at the moment. You want me to drag him into school, you funny beans. So yeah, had a little bit of a fight on my hands, but
such a beautiful mama bear in action though. I just remember watching you and just thinking, wow, man, this woman's got some fucking balls, Jesus. But also the consistency and the relentlessness that you had to keep dealing with those systems and keep pushing through was it just went on, and it was a really, really tough time. But also, how has that set you up for what you've then gone on to do? Because it really just, for me, looking inwards, it started something really, really amazing.
Absolutely. And I mean, it was a horrific time for my son, bless him, and he had such an awful, Well, it was the confidence and all sorts. And actually, there has been part of me that has really, you know, kind of looked at our different paths in where it took us. But what I'm most proud of now is that he's in like a space where he's able to, he's moving out next month and he's with his girlfriend, and it's kind of, you know, like, that's amazing. But where it took me was into, first of all, like this real fear of having to leave work, because I'd always worked and or always had the kids at home all day, and I suddenly had to stop all of that and just kind of be here and present. But actually, he didn't, you know, he was a 15-year-old boy. He didn't really want me under his feet all the time, and I had to give him some space. And although I had to care for him in quite a big way, I decided that I would go and do voluntary work, and that kind of that came in many, many different forms. One of the biggest things was Depression Changes Minds was a group that I set up, and from that I supported parents whose children had mental health illnesses. I supported them in talking with CAMS, in talking to the schools, in talking with the hospitals, the GPs, the everything, because I had worked in schools, and I also was never really afraid of authority figures or professionals. You know, they're professionals in their own right, but I'm the professional of my child. And that's kind of what I wanted parents to understand, was that although they had these million different people telling them what was wrong with their child and etc., they were the professionals, because they were coming home and spending, you know, all week with them, and the doctors saw them for like a week, an hour a week if you were lucky, you know, if not every other week or whatever. So I did that, and I also volunteered in a night shelter. I volunteered at Sunday Assembly, which was basically a church without God, if like of a short version of understanding what it was, singing pop songs and having great speakers on a Sunday morning. We set up the East End one, didn't we, Sam?
Yeah, it was amazing. Marie brought me into Sunday Assembly, actually. It was lovely.
Yeah, it was super. And then yeah, and then we had, what else did we do? Voluntary wise, I can't even remember what else I've done, but it basically took me into this massive world of volunteering. I'd done a workshop that I then shared with parents throughout Tower Hamlets, Hackney, etc., and went into schools for many, many hours, getting this workshop as many places as possible. Something I'm really proud of actually was I won several awards for the workshop, and I was proud because it kind of put it out there to everyone about what the workshop was about as well. And I almost felt like I was winning the award for all of the parents that like were going through this massive struggle with their children. And so, yeah. So kind of lost my train of thought now.
With that, Marie, with all that
yeah,
So you were dealing, you had your son at home, and you were basically learning the ropes together, weren't you? There was no training that you went to. It was like, right, okay, following, tell me if I'm wrong here, kind of just following your intuition, listening to what your son needs, and going and doing the best that you could for him. Is that how kind of you figured out that time with your son?
Yeah, pretty much. And I think at the time as well, I think there was a big the National Union of Teachers had done a big project and had a massive paper come out about the mental health of children and teachers in schools and how much pressure they were putting on them. And so I kind of went at it from all angles. And I think from my personal experience, I just realized that actually parents needed supporting. We needed to shout a bit louder about this. We needed people to understand that the health of our children is like so important, and that, schools and all sorts of systems were just squashing them and making them really poorly. And actually, there are children that go through the school and it works really well for them because they're academically minded. And that's what school is for academia. And it doesn't mean that you don't have qualifications in anything else in the world because you haven't got an A, B, or C, or 1 to 6, whatever the scoring is now. It just means that your brain isn't academically minded, and so you'll go through life and you'll work out a completely different path for yourself because you have an amazing creative brain, because we need both sides. We need the academics. We absolutely need the academics, but we also absolutely need the creatives. And I think when I saw what it was doing, and actually, there was definitely stuff that came up for me of my childhood, my teen years, when I was very depressed and absolutely hated school and could not get along with it myself. And I left school with 1 GCSE because I accidentally went into school. I think I popped back to school to use the loo from the park. And I think I'd gone back stoned from the park, and my teacher caught me and dragged me into the maths exam, and I had to sit my maths exam. I did pass it. I mean, maths has always been my strong point. So.
Oh my God.
Wow. I love that. So you passed math stoned?
Yeah.
Brilliant. Well, there's an ad for you.
Absolutely. Oh my goodness.
I just want to ask you, Marie, like you had a really rough time through school. I know I did as well. I wasn't academically minded. And I left school. I did a year in college, and then I just went into work. And I just felt like I learn as I do. That's how I operate. That's how my brain operates. And so many people are the same way as that. And it's really not available in the standard schooling system at all. And this might be jumping forwards a little bit, but do you feel? I really want you to. I'm jumping right forwards, but. What can you say to anyone that is in a situation, who's younger and is really hating school or not quite sure? What can you say to them? What would you say to them? Say, it's really, really okay because this has happened and I didn't like school and I don't have those qualifications apart from the stoned maths and all the rest of it. Like, do you know what I mean? So
yeah,
you've done so much amazing stuff, and the pathway is just like a complete up and down all over the place, but you wouldn't be doing what you're doing now without all of it. So yeah, I'll leave you with that.
I think I'd probably say similar to what I say to my boys now, which is do a job that you're enjoying. And as long as you're enjoying it, crack on. The minute you don't enjoy it, Go and find what else is there for you, because there will always be something else there. Go and try it. If you don't like it, leave. What? Like, nothing when you're young, even when you're older, I'm still bouncing around jobs and I'm blaming loving it. I absolutely love it. My goal was to have a portfolio career. Oh my gosh, do I have one of those? Like, and it was also to work and volunteer half of the week. I now have that happening, and that is solidly in as from last week. And for me, I think I'd just say, you know, it really, really is important to not go against what your intuitive being is. And if you are a creative, follow the creative compassion. Those pieces of paper, GCSEs, are not even asked for after the first year, unless you need to get into your A levels, which, you know, fair enough. If that's what you need to do and you're academically minded, that's really important for you. And I get that. But if you're not, your GCSEs won't be asked about. I don't think I've ever told the truth about how many GCSEs I've had on a CV. Never. I think I've always said 9. I mean, I took 9 subjects.
Oh, well, you know, it's only bending the truth then, Marie. You know, it's all good.
Right? It was 9 GCSEs. I went into those classes. I didn't pass all of them. And actually, you know, that got me a couple of jobs because people needed to see that I was doing something at the beginning. But actually, I think when you're creative and you love what you're doing, you're always going to be at your best because you're in alignment with what your true self needs to be doing. And I think, you know, alignment doesn't always need to look like, you know, the fairy story. It just needs to be okay with you, your soul. It needs to make you smile, and you need to know that what you're doing is best for you.
And I really feel that you walk that talk. You know, you've shared this with your boys, but that's coming from a place of knowing. And you have done that through, you know, going out, reaching out and going and doing your charity work, which, you know, you don't get paid for. It's your own time that you are dedicating to that. So you've really got to be passionate and love that. But also you know, you've seen the impact that you are creating. So I just think you're a real advocate for following your heart, doing what you love and what you're passionate about, and the universe will open up and open those pathways for you to gain what is you desire. I mean, look at you now. You know, you've got your portfolio career, and you've got your time doing your voluntary work, which is what you've put out there to the energy and going, come on, this is what I want, let's bring it.
Yeah. And it wasn't always, you know, like I got ridiculed at times for still doing voluntary work. You still doing voluntary work, you still not getting paid for this, you know, like absolutely ridiculed by many people. And many people were telling me that I should have been, you know, going to do something with myself. And I was like, I am. Like, and you know what? It hurt and it stung at times, but then I'd kind of sit back and be like, I know why I'm doing this. I know why I'm doing this. You don't need to know because it's not you that's doing it. And it's not you that's got to wake up with yourself every morning and know that you're living your purpose. And actually, it was really tough. But when you know something, you know it, and it's okay. And just don't lose sight of that. Don't lose sight of your knowing and your truth and your compassion for whatever it is that your path you're following.
So
Marie,
can I
would
ask
you...
you?
Sorry, go on, Sam.
I was just going to say, how do you stay on that path? What was your driving force? And because I know how difficult it is for myself, and I've also watched you, and I've watched what you've had to walk through in different areas, and the yoga training being another one. Like, how did you? What was it that drove you and kept you going?
I think at first it was the drive for other people. So it was external in I need to help these people because actually I have the tools and the knowledge of how to do that, or how to at least help you with some of it. Or even if it's a tiny little nugget, I've got some of these tools. I just want to share it with you so it's not as painful for you as it was for me, or at least you know others are going through that pain with you. And I think that's where it started, was like for others, and also for my kids, because I kind of looked at them and thought, when I turn around eventually and tell them, because I've always had a knowing that this will lead somewhere else. And I thought, I just want them to know that it's okay for you to follow your heart, like, and do what you want to do, not what I want you to do, or your dad wants you to do, or your nan, or anyone else, what you want to do, or what your mates think you should be doing, like totally what you want to do. And now I think what drives me is knowing that when I hand it over in like a kind of, okay, show me the path. I just need to trust that I'm on my path. There's a higher power at work for me because they've led me this whole way. And when I followed my heart and my intuition, it's always worked. And so when I start to fight against it and start to go, no, I've got to do this and I must do that, and I've got to go over here and follow that path, doors shut in my face. It makes it so difficult. My own mental health goes pear-shaped. I'm not good. I'm not in a good way. I fight against myself. And yeah, it all becomes too hard. So I now know that I need to walk this walk for myself. And then when I'm good, then everyone else around me can get that overflow and that piece of me to kind of, for me to do the work that I do. So yeah.
Marie, have you always had such a strong inner compass, you know, that intuition? Because some people could be listening to this and going, well, that's all very well, but I don't have that. And we all do it. We all do. But how did you, or when, you know, can you pinpoint a time when you could really know that you've got something higher, a higher force guiding you, and it's speaking through you in your body and in the feelings that you get?
I think it was possibly when I first started public speaking. And when I spoke about my work with DCM, Depression Changes Minds, and I spoke about my son and my journey through this, I used to go up. So Sam was witness to one of my papers one time before I was about to speak in front of 400 people, about 400 people now. And I'd written some notes. Sam just looked at this paper. When I write notes, I'm like, scribble, scribble, rub that bit out. I'll just, that bit. Like, so it's not organised like Sam would have it. Sam would have it typed up. She would also have it colour coded. It would be in bullet points. It would be the lot, right? It would look beautiful, absolutely flipping beautiful, and she'd know exactly what she was doing. I do not work in that fashion. It's literally what my brain is. It's like, what? Just like but when I spoke, I actually didn't remember what I spoke about. So I would go up and I would be like, someone film me, because when I get down, I've no idea what I've spoken about, literally none. I know that I've kind of followed what's on the notes, like, oh, yeah, that bit. Literally. And but when I've spoken, I don't know what I've spoken about. I kind of have a gist of what I've spoken about, but I feel like something kind of comes over me, and it's all intuitive, and it's all what is needed to be said. And perhaps there's, that higher power, working through me to get messages out there. I don't know, but I know I don't really have any idea what I've like. I couldn't tell you what structure the talk went in at all.
So Sam, you were at that talk. Was it coherent?
I don't think I was at that talk, but I have absolutely witnessed Marie public speaking, and I have seen her notepad on a few occasions, and I literally go, oh my God, I can't even look at it. Literally have an absolute discombobulation in my brain. And I'm like, how are you even taking that with you? But something does happen with Marie. Literally something comes in and she speaks so beautifully and has this power to move people. Like, it's such a beautiful thing to witness. But she does come off, she's like, is that all right, babe? I've got no fucking idea what I was talking about. Got no idea. Was it good? Was it good? It was good? Good. Right, let's go. Doesn't need to revisit it or anything. You know what I'm like, Kirsten? I will re-watch everything.
Absolutely. Dissect it. Yeah.
But no, and it really is. It's such a really incredible thing to witness. It's lovely. I've just got goosebumps now, but it is hilarious watching the pre. And then she goes up, just goes. It's just like, I'm like, how the hell did she pull that out of the bag?
I still don't know. Mate.
You don't need to, though, Marie.
Don't need to.
And yeah, and that's just it, Kirst. Like, I now feel like, I go into class now, like, as a yoga teacher, and people afterwards say, like, that was so amazing, Marie. Well, I kind of zone out of those as well. Like, definitely when I'm doing my meditations, I feel like I'm being guided in how to say what I'm saying, do what I'm doing. I just go into my mode of like, this is what people need to hear, and this is all good. And none of it, when it doesn't feel like work, it feels like it's your path, right? How can it be wrong if it doesn't feel like work?
Yeah.
How on earth can I rock up to work and feel better after I've been at work than I did when I arrived? That still baffles me. And that's with the work with the women at the Arch that I do. It's with my yoga work. It's even like, so being the caretaker building manager of the church now, like going and doing that. I mean, I've been doing a couple of weeks, and honestly, I flaming love it. I'm like, oh my gosh, this whole building, and I get to make it all pretty so that everyone loves being there. I'm like, I love it.
So you're bringing your floristry days into your work now.
So I literally just asked my manager today, can I bring plants in?
Oh, that's so gorgeous. It's going to be so...
I'm like,
Marie, can you just tell us about your journey to work the other day? Because we were chatting the other day, and it just really made me laugh. And I just think this is a perfect example of your dream portfolio career and your perfect day.
Seriously. So I've just been asked to do the workshop that I used to do, and the NHS are basically want me in as a consultant now. So doing this workshop with people, and hope, fingers crossed, let's pray for this, people. It's going to be accredited by the NHS, which would be amazing. Anyway, we'll see. Early days still. So,
by the way, this is the lady that got 1 GCSE because she was stoned in that exam, and look what she's. I mean, are you kidding me?
Don't tell the NHS.
Oh, no. We won't have this podcast go over that way.
No, don't. So,
oh my goodness.
I was walking to work, and so I needed to fix the board for outside the church. So I had to take my drill in, and so I had my drill in one hand, my laptop in the other, because I also needed to do some work on the workshop and bits and pieces afterwards. And then I had my tote bag that had a yoga woman doing yoga on it. And I just thought, this is hilarious. This literally sums up my career right now as a drill in one hand, handyman, laptop in the other. She's got some business to do. And then she's going to go and sit on a rock and meditate and be a yoga teacher at some point in amongst that day. So it was honestly just hilarious. But I love it. Love it. Wouldn't have it any other way. There's no way I could sit at a desk all day. I did do it for a bit. I used to fall asleep at lunchtime, hated it. And I love bouncing around. It does send me a little bit mental every now and then, but I've got the yoga to ground me, so I'm all good.
Put all your tools.
Yeah.
All your
literally.
Yeah, but yeah.
Oh, it's so amazing. And can I just say as well, I'm so happy you shared about the NHS thing. So all of this volunteering that you were doing and creating this workshop throughout all of those experiences that you've had, and everyone saying you should be getting paid for what you're doing, why are you still volunteering, this is a waste of your time. And now this is potentially going into one of the biggest systems to help people. I mean, it's just, I'm covered in goosebumps. It's just incredible.
A system that needs so much help as well in that field. I mean,
so does,
what impact you are going to have because of that that workshop, Marie. That's
so.
It's all about co-working as well. Basically, they like the structure of, because I got it accredited by a GP, by CAMS, which is Children Adolescent Mental Health Service. I had so many people checking over this and kind of, giving the nod to all of this. And I also worked alongside all of these people, and what I was on boards throughout Tower Hamlets of all sorts of mental health boards and children's SEND boards, and goodness knows.
Oh, Marie, you've just muted, darling.
Yeah, we basically worked so hard together in many different forms and with so many different people. And also I had some rocking parents with me, that properly rocked it and are amazing and still doing this work as well.
Oh my God.
So yeah, massive shout out to them. They're amazing.
It's an amazing project, that, wasn't it?
And that's just the ripple effect as well. So by you going out there and having these groups and doing all of that, you inspired other parents. This is what it's all about, right? Inspiring other parents and other people to go and take the stand that they need. This is so empowering. It's just incredible. Just so beautiful.
No, it's amazing to see so many people doing amazing work. Actually, it just, you know, and they're amazing within their own rights of what they're doing. Like, and the energy some of these people have to sit on all these boards for that many years and still fight that fight. And some of them, oh, they love a meeting for a meeting. Like, oh man, it drove me bonkers, and I had to come away from lots of that because it literally did drive me bonkers in the end. But but it was good when it was needed. So
and doesn't that just show you following what you're passionate about really does create tidal waves? Because, you know, your passion and your absolute drive to make that change is infectious, isn't it? People want to be around people that are on the move and are making change, and it's like, right, I want to jump on that train because I believe in what you're doing, I believe in you, let's go. And, you know, look at this tidal wave. You know, I'm not even going to call it ripples, it's a flipping tidal wave that you created, Marie.
Bless you.
And just and doing it against all the judgment of other people, and that takes such a strong character. And that's what I'm really seeing you, Marie. You're just such a strong character, incredibly fragile, incredibly vulnerable, but that absolute strength when you need it. And I just think, you know, like Sam was asking you, where does that drive come from? You know, that's not something that you do just because you like it or you get paid for it. That comes something so deep that it keeps you going through the ups and downs, through the not getting paid, through the challenges at home, you know, with your son and everybody else giving their 2 pennies worth, and you being able to block it out to a point and just keep going single-mindedly, and it really does make that change, be the change, and you are the change, Marie.
Bless you. I think it is there is a little bit of stubbornness in there too. Just a little bit.
Okay.
Just with just knowing. I think when I know something so deeply and so intuitively, and I feel like there are people being wronged, it sticks an absolute like knife in my heart, and I'm like, absolutely not. This is not okay.
Do you think that, because you've lived in the East End most of your life, right? Would I be right in saying that?
Yeah.
And there's a real community in that area. And also I think one of your core values is justice, it feels to me. Do you think that the community that you have been in for all these years has impacted you in that sense as well?
Massively. And I think also, I think there's a real, I mean, I'm on the road where the suffragettes offices were. I'm in the building that Israel Zangwill, who was a philanthropist and fought for the Jewish community. And I think there's a real energy in the East End of London of needing justice for, you know, like, and standing up for perhaps the underdog or something that's not right. And I do think there's an energy, and I do think that I mean, from when the kids were at nursery, I was on the governing body there, and I didn't really know what I was doing or signing up to. I'm like, yeah, if you want me, you can have me, yeah. But I was like, don't know what I'm doing. But I remember, you know, even just kind of having the fight when Jamie Oliver was doing about school meals, like that was, you know, where I kind of started my getting my teeth into things and making sure that we had healthy lunches for our kids in nursery. And got all the parents trying the lunches. And yeah, it was just, I think there has been that energy of parents around here, and energy of people around here. And there still is, as much as there's an awful lot of changes happened in the East End, and I definitely wouldn't say that they're all good. Some of them are, but not all of them. And I think there is still, thankfully, a real community here. And I think that's what I fight for as well, is like the community, like, is so important. I don't care what walk of life you come from. I don't care how much money you got. I don't care what clothes you wear or what colour skin you got or what religion you sign up to, if you sign up to one at all. Couldn't care less. Everyone's community, as far as I'm concerned. And we should look after each other. Like, you know, it's just, that's what we're here for. Like, we can do that together, and it takes a village to raise a child. You know, we should all be doing this together. And there's always someone that's got something amazing to teach you, like every single day. If you listen to people, you'll learn something. But yeah.
Wow.
And
it's all, and all this has come from adversity, hasn't it? You know, it started from adversity and challenge. And you know, as much as, you know, it's awful that your son has gone through so much, but and you went through so much as a child as well, but without that you wouldn't be where you are today. So it just shows you
absolutely
that challenge really does grow you, and just shows you how resilient and strong you are. And everybody, you know, like you might be listening to this and go, oh wow, Marie's incredible, I couldn't do something like that. But when you
Mate, if I can do it, anyone can do it. Anyone. Anyone.
It's just having a real mission. It's having that mission that you're so like stake in the ground. I'm going to make a change here. And for myself, first of all, for my son, and then for, you know, the wider community. And like you say, just having that community, you know, that one person takes that step forward, and then you've got all the other angels of that community, you know, like all going forward together. Like, that's a force to be reckoned with, isn't it?
Yeah. And it wasn't, you know, like, there are absolute moments where, you know, at DCM I used to hold the parents' evenings. I'd rock up to the church and I'd be the only person there. Like, you know, there wasn't, you know, they weren't coming in their droves every night. But then there were a few parents that came along regularly, and there were a few more. And, you know, I reached out to other parents and got to see lots of different walks of community. And then people would come to me and say, I've got a friend, I've got this. I just think, like, honestly, and I know I just joked about this, but if you've got something that you're passionate about, just go and give it a go. Like, go and speak to your local community centre or your local church and just ask if you can have a little bit of space. Like, to start whatever you want to start, and do it voluntary at first. Just enjoy it. Like, do it voluntary, see if it works, see if you actually enjoy it. And if you do, then go follow a path with that. It will work if it's right for you. And if it's not, shut the door and go and find something else. Like, I've spent far too much time worrying about the door that I was just closing. And I wish to just like, that's the only thought process of mine now is like, blimey, if you just shut the door a bit quicker, love, it wouldn't be that difficult, you know, like you can just shut the door. But then also, if I hadn't had the difficulties, I wouldn't know the struggles and I wouldn't be able to help the people I helped or do the things I do now. And I certainly wouldn't be the woman I am now if I'd not done it either. So
no.
that
You know what
is
you remind me of, Marie, and you've probably seen this. It's a leadership video, and it's called The Lone Nut.
Yeah, I love that.
And it's this guy, so everybody's sort of sitting around, you know, like in couples and in small groups. And there's this guy that gets up, and there's music in the background, I think. And he just starts dancing his weird and wacky dance. And everybody's just looking at him going, what is he doing? And he just continues. Nobody's joining him. He's just dancing around, loving life in his moment, in his, you know, in his presence. And then suddenly one person comes and joins him. Now there's two of them dancing around. Everybody's looking.
Exactly.
And then it's suddenly like another person joins, another, and then it's created this festival type thing on this.
I love it.
Everybody's dancing, and I just had that vision of Marie being that lone nut showing up. Nobody's showing up with her, and you know, keep going, and then suddenly look what's created. I can't. My mind's blown with how inspired I am, Marie, and it's really making me feel like, Kirsty, you've got so much to offer. Get out there, go do some voluntary work and give your skills and your knowledge to others for nothing. Because
absolutely.
And like you say, Marie, you come away getting so much from it. And it's always like, hold on a minute, I shouldn't be feeling like this. I've been the one.
Exactly that.
You know what I mean?
And that was like, you know, even so Tristan used to come to my youngest son used to come to the night shelter with me, the homeless night shelter. And he even asked, you know, because it stopped over COVID and then it was tricky. And anyway, he asked, is it back on? Because he wants to come back to it because he loved it. And like, we just had such a buzz about it. And he was absolutely buzzing. And he's like, oh, and are they doing the sleep out? He wants to go and do the sleep out again. I slept out overnight. Did I do it twice? I think I did it twice.
Yeah.
And just to raise funds. So you sleep on the street for the night to raise funds for the homeless. And Tristan did it with me last time. And he's like, I can't wait to do that again, Mum. And he's like, it's just, you know, and he's like 22 this year and he wants to come and do this stuff. And it is a buzz to it in that form that you are connecting. You're connecting somehow. And you do have skills. We all have skills. And so just go and share them, for goodness sake. Like it just, and if nothing else, you get from it the connection that you make with people.
Yeah.
Like if that's the least you get, you're rich in that, aren't you? So
you're absolutely winning if you're receiving that human connection, which is so lacking. And then also you get to mix with people that are not having a great time, and you realize that your hard times, you're not alone in that. I think that sense of togetherness and community is sparked through volunteering. And I also just want to say, like, Maria, I remember you going to evenings and no one rocking up, or maybe a yoga class and one person would show up. And we've spoke about that. I mean, I've done things where I've had no one rock up, so I've done my own class for myself, right? And but if you just keep showing up, they do eventually come. So if you, just to anyone out there that tries something and you feel it's not working, if you're feeling it in your heart that that's the right thing to do, just keep going, because they will eventually come.
Exactly that. Exactly that, man. They say well.
Amazing. So we're gonna wrap this up soon, but we do have a couple of questions. So we're Rise Tribe, and we've got 4 pillars through Rise. So we're asking each guest what these pillars mean to them when we ask. So so our first one is rejuvenate. So what does that word mean to you?
Oh, rejuvenate. That means springtime to me. Yeah. And I think because I live opposite the park, I literally kind of have all the seasons, over there. And I think I live for all of that. So coming through and just rejuvenating, bringing life again, having the little popping moments of it's kind of just everything's waking back up and you can kind of shake off the winter. Yeah,
That's lovely.
That for me.
I've got a little visual now of the little flower heads popping through and have a little dance and going, yeah, oh.
I know, I love it when the daffs come out and crocuses and
crocuses.
Yeah. Okay, so the second word is inspire. What's that for you, Marie? What's inspire to you?
Living your truth. I just think that's so inspiring. Like watching people live their truth and have to, along with that, I think shed stuff. When you have to live your truth, you shed any of the stuff that's been told to you, or that's not right, or the people around you might need to shed, and then you kind of step into your purpose and into your intuition, and you are then living in alignment, and then you can inspire people by knowing that just what you feel in your heart or your tummy or wherever it is that you feel settlement is like, that's you being in alignment, and then you can inspire others to do that because it's so simplistic. It's about you, not anyone else.
Thank you, honey. That's really beautiful. So our third pillar is strengthen.
Strengthen. Right now. What does that mean to me right now? Right now, what it means to me is the women's sink at the Mission Church that I've got to fix and strengthen so that it doesn't break and crack before we get it replaced by the plumber. That's literally what that word meant to me right now. I'm so sorry it's not more inspiring than that.
I love that, because I've got you marching down the road with your drill and looking strong.
Do you have visuals as well, Marie? Just to go off the topic.
Don't even go there, because I tell you what, Kelly and Shanna, my two mates, are just like, yeah, definitely got to get roses for Christmas. I'm being called Wendy by one of them. I'm like, oh, you can just shut up, both of you. But yeah.
Oh, I love it.
Oh, that's brilliant. We'll take that strength, and Marie, it's whatever it is to you. It doesn't need to be anything else but that. That's perfect.
I need a picture of you with a drill and a yoga mat. That's what we need. I want that whole shebang.
You'll get the lot.
We need that on the picture for the advertising the podcast.
Absolutely.
What is this conversation about? I'm coming to listen. Good marketing, isn't it? Intrigue.
I will try that tomorrow. Then I will try and
see if you can accomplish that. That would be amazing, and I will absolutely use that on the podcast.
Yeah, please do.
Oh my gosh!
Oh my goodness. So our fourth pillar, Marie, is what was it? Elevate. E for elevate.
Oh, elevate others. Like literally yeah, hold people's hands and pull them up, like literally pull them up with you, and just always elevate someone, like with just, you know, a good morning, like a word, you look beautiful today, love your top, saying good morning to a bus driver, like, hi, I see you, good morning. Like, lift someone, elevate them, allow them to, like, just, you know, sit up and feel okay and like they're seen in the world. So yeah, that's what elevate means to me, I think.
Thank you. And yeah, love how you say that, you know, just by saying hello and smiling at someone, it's just letting them know that they're seen. I see you.
Yeah.
Amazing. Well, Marie, you are such a role model.
Oh, bless you.
I absolutely love this conversation, and I just know everybody that's listening is just going to be, how can you not be inspired by your story? And the way you live your life is just absolutely incredible, Marie. So thank you for being you, and thank you for having the courage to just follow those callings and those nudges when it doesn't feel right. It doesn't, you don't not feel, but in your head, this isn't right. And how am I going to do
all the voices, it's all the many voices,
yeah, exactly,
of everyone else's, not mine.
That's the thing, isn't it? So thank you for just having the courage to be on your path and keep going, and for all the people that you've helped and inspire.
Bless you. Thank you.
Thank you, darling. This has just been so lovely, and I'm so happy for your portfolio career. And I remember us talking about it so many times, and just hearing you say that the other day, I was like, oh my goodness, that is just incredible. Just so happy. So Marie, we kind of touched on earlier that you're a yoga teacher and many other hats. So if people do want to find you for your mental health work, for your workshops, for your yoga, for all of the bits and pieces you do, I'm going to say you're probably not up for drilling people's sinks, but apart from that,
no.
But yeah,
apart from that, where do people find you? Where is the best place to go?
They can simply find me on Marie Yoga on Facebook, or Instagram is Marie Yoga _
Brilliant.
Or just an email is mcleodmarie@yahoo.co.uk. MCLEOD Marie@yahoo.co.uk.
Amazing. Thank you so much. I'll put those links in as well.
Thank you, darling.
This has just been so heartwarming for me. I've just loved every minute. Thank
you.
I
love chatting with you guys.
Absolutely.
And it is just a good old chat here at this podcast, that's for sure. But a very bloody inspiring one. So amazing. Thank you so much.
So
bless you. Well done for doing this, ladies. It's wicked. Love it. I love that you two are working together. I love chatting with you two, and it's so lovely. And you're really going to do amazing stuff, man.
We're enjoying it, and we're keeping it fluid and however it feels, and not being too regimented, which is quite interesting for me, considering what we were talking about earlier.
Absolutely.
You're doing very well.
I am actually, and today I don't have my notepad either.
You are normally writing notes on.
She's
so I'm relaxing.
She's got it on the back of her hand.
That's it. It's somewhere, Marie. It's somewhere.
No, nothing. I'm taking a leaf out of Marie's book and just letting it flow.
Just go with it, babes.
Just go with it.
And actually, the line was, "It'll be fine, babes. It'll be fine." That was the line from Storm Flowers. It'll be fine, babe. It'll be fine.
Anything go like the shit hitting the fan, anything going, I'll be fine, babe. We'll be in the pub in half an hour.
It'll be fine, babe. It'll be fine.
Oh, I love it. Let's just go with that. It's all going to be fine when we follow our intuition and our gut feeling.
Absolutely.
And just, yeah, and be with the knowing. I think that's definitely
Absolutely
the theme of this podcast. That's awesome.
For sure. Oh,
thank you so much, and we hope you've enjoyed episode 3. So I can't wait to launch Marie out there and for you guys to listen to her, and we will be back with episode 4 soon. Thank you so much for listening, and
thanks for listening, guys, and thanks, Marie. You're awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you, lovely.
So much love.